welcome back to the Real Impact Series here on Tell Me Your Story. I'm Reverend Dr. D. He is Dennis Henson, and we are going to dive right in here to, first of all, welcome you back, Dennis. It's great to join you again here on this sojourn down story lane, as it were, hearing these different inspirational stories. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you for having me, Richard. I really appreciate it.
And here is a story, Dennis. It's really interesting. It's there's almost a lot of judgment in the title of the story. You don't have what it takes to be a coach.
You don't have what it takes to be a coach. Louis Lou Holtz was born in the late 1930s, raised a Roman Catholic, and attended East Liverpool High School in Ohio. Lou was a gifted high school football player, and after graduation he dreamed of attending his favorite college, Notre Dame. Most boys who played football in a Catholic school or worshipped in the Catholic Church wanted to play for the Fighting Irish. Lou was no exception, but he was too small to be considered for a team of their caliber. So Holtz attended Kent State University. While at KSU, he decided he wanted to become a football coach, and in 1960 he started his coaching career as a graduate assistant. Lou always set his goals high, made a strong commitment, and took the necessary steps to achieve them. Although Holtz planned to become a great coach, his true passion was to someday become the head coach at, you guessed it, Notre Dame. Although no one other than him believed he could fulfill that lofty dream. In college football, there are only a handful of genuinely elite programs with rich histories and great traditions. Teams like the Alabama Crimson Tide, Ohio State Buckeyes, Oklahoma Sooners, and Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Some of the greatest college coaches in history had roamed the sidelines of Notre Dame Stadium. Knute Rockne with 105 Irish wins, Frank Leahy, and Ara Parseghian were among them. So setting a goal of becoming Notre Dame's coach was comparable to dreaming of becoming the Pope, and his chances were about the same. As with the Pope, a coach had to have something special to be considered for an Irish coaching position. Yet Lou dreamed his dream and never took the odds into account. He just started to move toward his goal and did his very best every day. In 1960, Holtz started coaching as a graduate assistant at Iowa State, followed by staff positions at William & Mary and Connecticut. Then in 1966, he landed an assistant coaching position for the South Carolina Gamecocks. Lou was on his way, but at the end of his first year as a real coach, not only was he fired, the Gamecocks head coach told him, "You better get out of coaching because you just don't have what it takes to be a coach." Lou held to his dream despite the setback and did what all successful people do. He got up, dusted off his britches, and moved forward. Note, elite college football programs offer their coaches many benefits that other colleges cannot. A huge salary, a large staff, the best facilities and equipment, and the cream of the recruiting crop. Holtz put out the word that he was available to several prominent schools, and miraculously, one of those elite programs, Ohio State, hired him as an assistant. That fall, with the help of Lou, the Buckeyes won college football's national championship. With a championship on his resume, Lou's stock was on the rise, and he soon was hired to be the head coach for the Tribe at William & Mary. While there, he led his new team to the Southern Conference title and a trip to the Tangerine Bowl, prompting more offers. In 1972, a larger school, North Carolina State, came knocking. Lou's coaching success continued with the Wolfpack, and he stacked up a winning record during his 4 years there. The Wolfpack earned top 20 rankings for the next 3 seasons, including one top 10 finish in 1974. NC State was invited to 4 bowl games and was the ACC champion in 1973. Lou's win-loss record there was the best in Wolfpack history. In 1976, Holtz became a head coach in the National Football League with the New York Jets. But he wasn't happy coaching professional football. Lou missed working with and helping build the character of young college students. So the following year, he accepted an offer to coach for the Arkansas Razorbacks. Lou was back in his element and happy to be molding the Razorbacks into a quality team. His coaching philosophy instilled honesty, character, integrity, and teamwork in his players. By the end of the 77 regular season, the Razorbacks boasted a 10-win, 1-loss record, earning them an invitation to the Orange Bowl Classic, a major bowl. Lou's Razorbacks were scheduled to face the nation's number 2 team, the Oklahoma Sooners, one of those elite programs. Holtz was excited for a good showing against a highly ranked team would be an opportunity for him to be noticed by Notre Dame. However, he understood a bad loss on a stage so big could quickly derail his ultimate goal. The coach knew his team would face a tremendous challenge, yet he remained optimistic about their chances. Holtz faced many obstacles, i.e. his Razorbacks were plagued with injuries, leaving them weak in critical areas. Yet the Sooners had possibly the best offense in the nation, and their roster was packed with big-name 5-star players. Barry Switzer and his Sooners would be playing for a chance to win a national championship with a win over the battered Razorbacks. Lou's Arkansas team was coming off a losing season from the year before. Plus, none of his players had experience playing in a game of such magnitude. Though the odds were stacked against him, the coach was confident his Razorbacks would make it a competitive game. However, the sports media did not agree. They also knew of Arkansas's challenges, and every sports commentator pronounced the Hogs dead on arrival. They all projected the Sooners would be much too powerful for the upstart Razorbacks. Holtz ignored their rhetoric and continued preparing his team for the impending battle. Then, disaster struck. 3 Arkansas players were found with a woman in their Miami hotel room 2 days before the Orange Bowl. They had broken strict team rules, and to make matters worse, they were the team's best offensive players. Holtz was saddened by what occurred and burdened with a decision no coach would ever want to make. 2 of the guilty players had produced 78% of the Razorbacks' offense that year. The team's chances against Oklahoma would dramatically increase if Lou allowed these players to stay, yet if he sent them home, there was a good chance his team would be taken apart by the mighty Sooners. To add to his dilemma, the entire Razorback nation, the school's administration, and many influential Arkansas politicians urged Holtz to play the 3 offenders. Lou knew sending the boys home would probably cost him his job and his Notre Dame dream. His decision couldn't have been easy. The team rules were clear, and the punishment was spelled out. Bravely, Coach Holtz chose to make the right rather than the popular choice, and he dismissed the players. When the sports media learned of Lou's decision, in unison they insisted that the Razorbacks step aside and let a more worthy opponent play the powerful Sooners. But despite enormous pressure, Holtz never gave a thought to the media or even his superiors. He pulled his team together and prepared them for the approaching monumental task. Lou clung to the hope that the game might still be competitive, with the right game plan and every Razorbacks commitment. But according to the Las Vegas oddsmakers, Arkansas was an 18-point underdog before the suspensions. With the suspensions in place, the point spread rose to 24 points. The college football world was keenly aware the Orange Bowl would likely decide the national championship, and it did. On Bowl Day, the talking heads quickly pointed out why Arkansas didn't have a prayer of winning. They even belittled the coach for his selfish decision to compete. But once the game started, it was evident that the Razorbacks' defense was tired of hearing how the Sooners' superior offense was too good for the little Arkansas team. Or perhaps those young men were inspired by a tremendously influential leader. Either way, those Razorbacks came to play that day, and they played with a mighty vengeance. Despite the Oklahoma O taking a significant beating, they still managed to move the ball up and down the field. Although anytime they approached the red zone, the last 20 yards before the goal line, the Razorbacks D shut them down, or worse, forced them to fumble and took away the ball. By the end of the first quarter, the Sooners had fumbled 3 times and given up the ball twice. After each turnover, the crippled Razorback offense scored. Then in the second quarter, if anything, the Arkansas defense got stronger. By halftime, the score stood at 14-0 in Arkansas's favor. The Sooners were still not too concerned, for the bigger and better team usually wears down the lesser team to make a strong showing in the second half. Only the Razorbacks had other plans and added an additional 10 points in the third period. When Oklahoma scored a touchdown early in the fourth, They failed to make the extra point, which exhausted what steam the Sooners had remaining. Yet the depleted Razorbacks hadn't finished. With another touchdown, their second and third string offense drove the last nail in Oklahoma's coffin. By the end of the game, Arkansas had matched the mighty Sooners offense yard for yard throughout the game. The final score was Arkansas 31, Oklahoma 6. The Razorbacks ended their season ranked number 2 in the nation, behind the mighty Crimson Tide. Roll Tide. Oklahoma dropped to number 4. That Orange Bowl game is still remembered as the biggest upset in Razorback football history. Coach Holtz had made a statement that echoed throughout the college football world. Lou Holtz was not one to be taken lightly by his players, opponents, or the sports media, and more importantly, his Notre Dame dream was still alive. Under Holtz, Arkansas experienced its best win-loss record in its history despite playing a demanding Southwest Conference schedule. During his 7 seasons at Arkansas, the Razorbacks played in 6 bowl games and piled up 60 victories. For years, Lou's decision to send the players home continued to haunt him even after that win. Then, at the end of the first down season, his political enemies pressured the university to let him go. But with Lou's strong record, finding a new position was easy. Unfortunately, the Notre Dame position wasn't available, so Lou accepted when a call from the University of Minnesota to take over the Golden Gophers came in. But his acceptance had a few conditions. Holtz agreed to become UM's coach with a backdoor clause stating, if the Golden Gophers are invited to a bowl within 2 seasons and should Notre Dame call, Lou would be allowed to leave. Keep in mind that the Golden Gophers were coming off a 10-loss season, and the Irish hadn't indicated they wanted Holtz. So those conditions must have seemed reasonable to Minnesota. Yet 2 years later, after the Gophers earned a trip to the Independence Bowl, the Fighting Irish asked Holtz to become their new head coach. Lou had achieved his dream. However, that's not the whole story. You see, though college football was important to Notre Dame, the school wanted its players to be taught honesty, character, integrity, and teamwork. So their decision to hire Holtz was not a new one. It was made 8 years earlier in 1978, and it was not decided after the big Orange Bowl win. It was decided before the Orange Bowl game when Coach Holtz chose to do the right thing and dismissed his best players. Notre Dame officials believed a man with such character and integrity would make an excellent coach for their beloved Irish, and they were right. During Holtz's tenure at Notre Dame, his teams were victorious 100 times, only 5 wins short of Knute Rockne's record. The Fighting Irish won it all in his 3rd season and were crowned the national champions of college football. Lou's teams also broke school records with a 23-game winning streak from 1988 to 1989 and a 17-game streak from 92 through 93. 1991 through 93 saw the Irish register 3 consecutive bowl wins. Coach Holtz also took Notre Dame to 9 straight bowls and won 5 of them. When Lou retired, he coached the Irish in more games than any other coach in the school's history. He'd won 1 national championship and had 2 near misses. In 1977 and 1988, he was named National Coach of the Year. Lou took every team he coached to at least 1 bowl game. He's the only coach in NCAA history who took 6 different teams to bowls, won bowls with 5 different teams, and had 4 different teams end their seasons in the top 20. Coach Holtz accomplished all that despite never inheriting a winning team. Holtz also took 22 teams to bowls and won 12, tying the 5th best bowl record of all time. His career record of 249 wins placed him among the top 10 coaches in college football history. In 2008, Lou Holtz was inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame. Not bad for a guy who didn't have what it takes to be a college football coach. I don't think it's about who you play. I think it's about who you are. Nick Saban.
And that story takes us to our next segment as we are here on Tell Me Your Story with Dennis Henson. This is the Real Impact series. I'm Richard Dugan, and Dennis, Lou Holtz, tell you what, a remarkable individual who did, as was stated a number of times, the right thing. And that was probably more impressive than anything else.
Yes, I agree. Lou Holtz is quite a gentleman. Now, I'm an Alabama fan and really never cared for Notre Dame. They were probably at the top of my list of people that of college football teams that I hope would lose every single time. But his story was just so powerful, I couldn't leave it out of the book. And so everyone that was still alive that I wrote about in the book or that had a quote or whatever, I sent them a copy of the book. Lou Holtz sent me a letter, a really nice letter, thanking me for including him in the book and congratulating me. Now, that is quite a man of character, and I'm just so impressed with him. But by the way, Notre Dame's still not my favorite team, even though they're mentioned several times in the book. They just have a rich history. Yeah.
Well, I remember the story of Rudy, in that respect. It's a heck of a school and a team. I will tell you that my only close connection to college football and some of the top teams had to do when I was working back in Phoenix. We were working out at the transmitter site, and this was the Christian radio station. And we had the opportunity for 2 straight years to carry Nebraska Cornhuskers football. And those were the back-to-back winning seasons where they won it all 2 years in a row. And I got to tell you, I wasn't a Cornhusker fan. I still am not. I don't hate them or anything. It's just I don't follow it. But I will tell you that the way those games were presented on our station, and I produced them. I was there while the games were going on, putting our commercials in and so forth in the breaks. I couldn't help but get caught up in it. It was a lot of fun to listen to. We even carried some Dodger games. Same thing. I was a Dodger fan only because when I was a kid growing up, we'd have the radio on our local news talk station, and they were the local Dodger affiliate in Phoenix. And we just happened to have it on. And it was more atmosphere than anything else. We weren't following the game. It just happened to be on. And so it was like I was a fan by osmosis. And then, of course, our D-backs, they went on 4 years after they became a team, went on to win the World Series. And I never thought, first of all, that we would ever get a baseball team. And of course, when we did, I thought, we're not going to be getting into the playoffs anytime soon. And then, of course, we're World Series. That's years away. And so it's kind of nice to be able to say that, yeah, I come from a World Series town.
That's right.
But I'll tell you, the coaches that are out there, and I know there are some good ones, and we've seen and heard of some of the not so good. But the good ones, they just, I think of John McLeod, former Phoenix Suns coach, and the work that he did. He took us to a one final back in the 70s. I think it was 73 against Boston. And then, of course, in 93, it was interesting, 30 years later, 78, no, 20 years later, I do my math there. 20 years later, we were back at it against Chicago. We still haven't won one, and, maybe someday they will. But every team that has a coach out there, sometimes you have to ask yourself, why did the coach make that decision? Whether it's on the field or court or wherever it is they're playing or off. I did not like, for example, Charles Barkley when they signed him from, I think it was Philadelphia. And I'm going, oh, come on, this loud, brash, big mouth, and he proved himself. He played with a tenacity that I thought I didn't expect. And I thought, you know what, Charles, you can say whatever the heck you want as long as you keep playing like that and bringing us victories. So I think that goes a lot to the coaches. And in this case with Lou Holtz, Dennis, he, I wonder whatever happened to those two. It was two players, I believe it was, that he tossed off the team, you know. I wonder
Yeah.
whatever happened to them. I would like to think that they showed Lou the respect he deserved by doing what he did, the right thing, because they knew they had broken the rules.
Yeah, there were three of them that
Three.
they go. I'm not sure what happened to him after that, but he made a lot. Lou made lots of enemies in Arkansas when that happened, even though they went on to win the game.
Yeah. Yeah.
The political people in politics don't like to be told no.
No, that's
They like to be it. They like to run the thing. So
yeah.
that's what lost him the job. But it all turned out okay
Yeah.
for him.
That's one of the reasons why I would never become a politician and run for those offices because I jokingly say I have too much integrity. But you know, they say that you end up having to compromise too much. And you know, if I was ever to do it, foolishly do it, I would be putting out a statement before, or as I'm announcing my candidacy for whatever it is, saying, okay, let me list for you all of my foibles over the last 65 years that I've been alive, okay? And that way you people are not going to have anything to talk about because I've already acknowledged all of my shortcomings, okay? Now, let's get on with the business of doing what we're here to do. And in Lou's case, I think that's really what he did, you know, not that he talked about, you know, his foibles, but he just knew what the right thing to do was. Sounds to me like he was raised right too, his parents. Do you have
That's true.
any information about his mother and father?
No, I that didn't appear in any of the research that I did.
Hmm. And that's another thing we can talk about too is the research that you put into each one of these stories. And quite honestly, it doesn't matter how long or short the story is, you still put quite a bit of research into each one of these, didn't you?
I did, and it's funny. I was listening to something this morning when I was walking. I always listen when I'm walking, and they were talking about one of the people in one of the stories,
Hmm.
and the things that they were saying, coincided exactly. But then they mentioned some other things. So doing the research not only was fun, but it it spurred a lot of interest. And every time I hear something more about them, so I actually know a lot more about the people in the stories now than I did after I had done the research and written the story. Because every time I hear something, I'll listen twice, twice as well hard.
Mm. Yeah, again, it is it's wonderful to hear these stories. I now I share this because I haven't done it yet, but I'm gonna share it anyway. One of the television programs that I used to watch as a kid growing up was Little House on the Prairie, and I have the a pleasure of interviewing the woman who played the little girl, the Nasty Nellie character, and then the gentleman who played Laura Ingalls' love interest. And that program, though it was not preachy, it wasn't. It touched me. I mean, I had tears during some of the episodes. But one of the things, and this is tied in with Lou's decision and so forth, is that even in that program and in those scripts that were written, there was an undercurrent of what we've been talking about in terms of doing the right thing, being kind, being honest, being trustworthy, and all of that. And I don't really see that much in our media today that that mirrors those characteristics. Do you?
No,
And it's unfortunate.
it
You know,
is.
I mean, you can set aside, I don't care, I mean, I say this tongue in cheek. I don't care about the sex or the violence. I'm more concerned with What is this? What are the ethics that are being taught here? You know, and it would be nice if we could bring back. And I have heard, Dennis, I have heard they're going to do a Little House on the Prairie reboot. That should be very interesting.
Should be.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll give it a chance.
Yeah, we'll give it a shot. I mean, who knows? Dennis Henson's my guest, and this is Tell Me Your Story, the Real Impact series. And when we return, we're going to talk about how you can not only help others to be inspired, but also how you can get yourself a free copy of the Real Impact Daily Inspiration book. And we'll do that as we continue here on Tell Me Your Story. I'm Richard Dugan with Dennis Henson, author of and compiler thereof as well, the Real Impact Daily Inspiration series, of which it appears there are going to be 2 and 3 volumes. So you stay tuned for that. As a matter of fact, you could go to realimpactbook.com and you could click on that one request to keep you notified when Dennis comes out with a new book. All right, so go to realimpactbook.com. And Dennis, there's an opportunity for folks to acquire not only their own free copy of the ebook version, but also they could win an Audible version of Real Impact. Talk to us about that.
Well, it's a contest. You go to realimpactbook.com and it says help us find the missing lamp. One of the lamps escaped from the cover of one of the books, and it's somewhere on the site. And there's lots of links on the site, so you have to click on each individual link and look really close. And if you can identify it, and send us a message, tell us where it is. If you're correct, then we will see that you get a copy of the audio version, which is a $17.95, $18 value. So I think that's a pretty good deal. Plus, there's other things there. There's a free gift. If you just look on the front page of the site, one of the links on, I think, the second or third page says free gift. You click on that, and we give away other ebooks. I think we gave Think and Grow Rich one month, and every month it's a new, really great book. So I'm not sure what's up there now. Go check it out. And also on the side, right up at the very top, it says contact us. So if you know someone that needs a guest speaker or a keynote speaker, I'm available for that. You can contact me from there, or radio programs, podcast, or if you just have questions about the book, want to know how we can work together to get the book in front of more people, my phone number's there and my email address. The first link on that website is The Mystery of the Lamp. You should go click on that and listen to that. It's really interesting. Richard's been kind enough to play it on one of our programs here. Maybe we'll do that again one day soon. And then there's another link that says Help the Children, which is a GoFundMe program, where everything that you give, that you donate to that, goes toward purchasing books for children in disadvantaged communities. So I hope you'll help us out with that. It's a fun website. It's got lots of audios and videos, contests, and free things. So, and you don't just go once because it's constantly changing. So make a note and visit it often, and you'll be able to take advantage of the different games and get different prizes. So we try to make it interactive and fun.
Absolutely, and that's all part of it. And I tell you what, when you make a choice to be inspired by Real Impact Daily Inspirations in the book, you're going to figure out what direction you want to go, but now more importantly, where you want to go, so that you can choose the right direction. And we hope that you will take the book with you and share it with people. As a matter of fact, I was talking with one of my guests I'm scheduling an interview with down the road here, and I was sharing with her our series and your book with her, and she thought it was really cool, and how important it is for us. And I talked to her about that, the analogy you use of the roadmap. Here's a roadmap. Let's go. Where exactly? Where do you want to go? So it's so I'm sharing it with people because it's I'm learning more and more every day as I get as I I'll just say it, I'll grow as I grow older, or at least my body anyway grows older. I'm getting every day that it's just so much more. It's more and more important. Uh, yes, for us to be inspired and to have a direction and so forth, but even more so to help others. I mean, I'm seeing, and I don't watch a lot of news. I really don't. But what I do see, I don't see these people doing that. Now, on the local level, some of the stories that I see, they do stories about how this person or this group is helping that person or that group of people, in whatever distress they might be in, whatever condition they might be in. And that's beautiful. Matter of fact, I just saw a piece, Dennis, just last night on our local television about a young man who he was abused as a child. And once he got into a group and shared what happened to him, he felt free. And he also felt free to tell others who have been abused, who have been hiding, who've been silent. Tell someone, talk to someone. Not only will it free you, but it wasn't your fault. It wasn't if you were a child, it was not your fault. And that, and and I tell you, sadly, his mother, she's in poor health, but he just loves his mother to death. He's there for her. And that's inspiring in and of itself. I mean, I love my mother too, and thank God she is in good health. But, you see these folks that are standing toe to toe with their parents or their siblings or friends or family. A dear friend of mine passed away just recently, Dennis, of cancer. And I was talking with him about a month ago, and he shared with me that, yeah, his girlfriend, she says, I'm staying with you to the end. And I got to tell you, that's not only just commitment, that is inspiring as well. That the bond that the two of them have is so deep, and she knows what's coming, but she's not going anywhere. And we need to take that attitude with every person that we meet. Hey, I'm not going anywhere. I'm here if you need me. And that's what that's what the stories really do talk to us about. Many of them talk to us about how many of these folks, they weren't running away. They faced it and head on.
That's right. That's right. I learned a lot writing the book. And by the way, I just had another book published. How to Get Started Investing in Real Estate is up on Amazon, so you might want to check that out. I just finished another book. And once you finish, it's still 6 months to a year away from getting it published because there's so much you have to go through. But I just finished The Laws of Nature for Success. And a lot of people are wanting that one. So I'm going to get it up as fast as I can. Then I have several other real estate books that are in various stages of being published. They're all finished. I think I have 4 books completed that will be published in the next few months, And then I'm working on 3 more, Real Impact 2, Real Impact 3, The 7 Secrets of Success. I'm really pushing that one right now. I'm working hard to try to get that one finished. I'm probably 85% finished with it. So I'm having a good time writing. I'm really enjoying working on those.
I tell you, I'm looking forward to getting into my next book too, and I haven't decided what it's going to be just yet, because I've got 3 in my head. One's a picture book, actually a photo. It'll be almost like a photo album of pictures that I took back when I was living back in Phoenix and the way it used to look, and then they're color pictures. They're not going to be the black and whites with sepia tone. They're not that old, and neither am I. And then, of course, another one with some of my short stories that I wrote in school, and so forth. And then who knows what the third one will be? I'm still formulating that one. But you're right. Even though, as you say, 6 months before it ever sees the light of day for the public, there's still that wonderful feeling of satisfaction in, I did it. I completed it. It's been edited, it's been proofed, everything's been checked out. Now comes the publishing part. And then, like you did with the beautiful work you did, choosing the paper and the font and all of the attributes of Real Impact, daily inspiration. I mean, you've talked about that on this program before, that you wanted this to be, I mean, you were serious. You wanted this to be a book that would be around for a long time for people.
Exactly. It's something that you can give. It's a legacy gift. It's something you can give to someone that hopefully will change their life, but for sure, they're not going to throw it away. I mean, it's nice and it's going to go in the bookshelf. In 30 or 40 years from now, they'll pull it down and see your name and inscription and remember you. So
Yeah.
If you're looking for that kind of gift, and it's $35, it's under $50, where can you get a really nice gift to give to someone for less than $50? And then the paperback's only $15.
Yeah.
So if you want it just to read, the paperback's a good option.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, Dennis, one of the things that's always fascinated me is this aspect of quality. And I will tell you that even if, let's say I was meeting you for the first time and I picked up a copy of your book, the hardcover, all right, even before I started reading the stories, which are also quality, I already know that what I'm holding, is of a quality nature. And again, you kind of quoted the price there, $35. Yeah, you're absolutely right. You can't find a book like that for under 50 or more. And you were able to obviously negotiate the deals, the arrangements, and all of that for the materials to keep the price low. And that's a beautiful thing. And then you start reading the stories, and the quality just jumps out at you. And I know that folks who get a copy of it are really going to appreciate it. And even the paperback version, same difference. It's still quality. So whatever you choose, hardcover, paperback, Audible, ebook, you are not going to go wrong. We're not going to go wrong either, because we're going to pause here with Dennis Henson. I'm Richard Dugan, and this is Tell Me Your Story. I'm Richard Dugan with Dennis Henson. We're talking about Real Impact Daily Inspiration Series here on Tell Me Your Story, New Paradigms for a New World. I think I mentioned this earlier, that by reading the stories from Real Impact Daily Inspiration, you're going to get a new paradigm for a new world, your world. You're going to be able to literally change. And you've talked many times, and I can't help but requote this, about getting your mind right. You really, the book is going to do that, and you don't have to work that hard at the shift. Although I will say there may be times when it becomes a little uncomfortable, Dennis, when it's kind of like when you read something, regardless of what it is, all right, you can't unread it. Now you got to deal with it. Okay. And I've had situations like a dear friend of mine who made a choice and decided to depart this world on his own terms. And I had to grapple with my own words in my own book. It's like, okay, did he have a choice? And you don't judge him. You still love him the same. It was his life to do with as he chose. On the one hand, okay, I know other people, they feel differently, and I understand that. I respect that. But I loved the guy. We had a lot of fun together at the radio stations that we worked together in. And he was a real good friend. We talked all the time on the phone, and so I said, okay, there's my book. And do you want to live or do you want to die? I may not like your choice, but I'll support you in it. And that was to my wife when she had cancer and she'd had the surgery and she was going through chemo. Gee, what would I have done if she'd said, I'm not going to do anything. I don't want to live. I want to leave. I'm not strong enough to handle this. So now do I try to convince her that she is and try to make her change her mind and choose differently? or do I respect her choice and say, okay, I'm not going anywhere. I'm right here to the end, like my friend who died of cancer and his girlfriend. Um, those are hard sometimes, but that's what I was referring to when, like, our words, they come back to bite us in the butt, don't they?
Yes, they do. So you have to be careful what you think and what you say.
Yeah. And your book, when you read back, because I know you've read these stories, obviously in putting them together and editing, you've read them hundreds of times, but I'm sure also once they've been published, you've also read them again and again. Does that ever happen to you? I'm going through this particular situation, and you're reading this particular story, and right in your face. All right, Dennis, what are you going to do?
Well, of course, the more you're involved with something, the more you realize how it affects you, or when something comes up in your life, um, especially the poems and quotes in the book. There's poems in there when things start getting rough that immediately come to my mind and help you get through that. And that's
Hmm.
why they're in the book in the first place, because at
Right.
some point in my past, I heard that poem or the quote, and it inspired me, and I thought I'll save this, and it's ended up here to hopefully help other people.
Yeah. Well, I'm almost certain that it is definitely helping other people, and we encourage you to get a copy going to realimpactbook.com and getting your free e-copy, your ebook copy, or purchasing hardcover or paperback. I will tell you, Dennis, as of our little conversation here, I placed the order and for the bundle with the hardcover deluxe edition, along with the seven secrets of success that comes with it, and I can't wait. I mean, I'm still waiting, but and I know it's coming. I know it's coming. I'm anticipating it, and really looking forward, especially to reading the Seven Secrets. That's the one I haven't read because I've listened to all of the stuff in the Audible version. So that'll be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to that. And who knows, maybe we will start going through that as we get to the end of the year and talking to people about that too. So thanks for putting those together in a bundle. That was terrific.
Well, thank you.
Well, folks, that is going to wrap up this edition. But before we wrap, Dennis, in regards to Lou Holtz and his career and the story, I give you the last couple minutes here to wrap things up with a message.
I think the Lou Holtz story is about integrity more than anything else. Because of his integrity, he was able to accomplish his dream. And he probably thought when he let those players go that he was going to lose that game and his opportunity to realize his dream to become the coach of Notre Dame. But um, it didn't stop him from doing the right thing. And he really got hired because he did the right thing, not because he won the game.
Right.
And
Right.
that's kind of the impact of the story to me. I just think that was just amazing that they had already made their mind up years before they hired him because they
Yeah.
knew he was going to be a quality individual.
I saw a video just recently, Dennis. There were these two individuals. They were I'm trying to remember exactly where we're at here. They were on a plane flying to a particular destination, not realizing they were both vying for the same job. So they were going for an interview. And the guy was just as nasty as could be. And the woman, there were two women. So there were three people there. One of the women was applying for the job. The third woman was dressed really shabbily. She just looked awful, right? And he didn't want her near him. I mean, he wanted because she was sitting next to him. And finally, a woman across the aisle said, I'll sit with her. You sit in my seat and I'll sit over here with her. Of course, he kept mouthing off even when he was sitting way over there. Now he wasn't near her. And she's there being as kind as can be to this woman, this disheveled, homeless-looking woman. And they get so the long and the short is now cut to the scene in the office where the guy who's going to do the hiring has the two of them in there, and the woman who was disheveled comes into the room and basically determines that the woman who was kind to her gets the job. She didn't know this woman was doing a test with these two, and neither did the guy. But they realized that no, he has no interest in being a part of this organization with that kind of an attitude, and they didn't want him anyway. And of course, he was really upset about it. Says that's not fair. It's like, okay. So yeah, integrity is really important. You never know who you're going to run into out there. So be kind no matter what you do. So Dennis, thank you so much for being with us and being so kind as to help me to put this series together this year.
Well, thank you, Richard. I've really enjoyed it. I look forward to our next one.
Absolutely. It's going to be a humdinger, I guarantee you. Folks, thank you for listening to Tell Me Your Story, the Real Impact series, and we hope that you will join us again. And until our next broadcast, podcast, videocast, love Talal. Jeanette, I am still listening. Dad, continue to be happy because I am. Mike, thanks for letting me be a part of your life. Smokey, I'll see you on the other side. And to my dear friend Zorro, aho, aho.